Good evening, everybody. And I forgot the baby.
Baby.
I forgot the baby. That's
Hello,
my
everyone.
fault. Hello. How you guys all doing? Welcome to the show. We got a fun-packed show with all sorts of stuff to go over. It's been a bit of a packed weekend, but before we get into it, what do you want? I'm sorry. I'm being harassed by somebody. So, because somebody went upstairs, I will have an additional second co-host tonight. We'll be helping out for a little bit as we're going through. And he's a bit of an asshole, though, as you can hear. Yeah. Thanks, little asshole. Anyways, his mama's upstairs right now. She's packing. She's got a trip she's going on too. So, and overall, welcome to the show. Before we get started, a couple of things as usual. Auto Activism, our Discord. If you can join us, by all means, please do. You can go to my profile and go to my link tree and find the Discord link. Or you can go to Deana's profile and find she has no link tree because she's just not.
I've started creating one of the things we talked about that was happening earlier today.
Is it the link tree?
It'll be next.
So the other thing she's starting off,
procrastinator.
Yeah. So the other thing she started off was not the link tree, and it was a drink. So as well as our auto activism, don't forget also on Friday nights you can come and meet up with us at 9 p.m. for our spaces, which we should be doing again this Friday because
I'll be there this time.
Yes, Deana will be there this time. It's not going to be just me who tried as valiantly as I could. Not quite as good as when Deana's there. But you know what? I did have some fantastic assistants to join me out that night. So
always.
I do. And there's a lot of people that did jump up that help us out and help me out, which is fantastic. Mommy Dearest, big thank you on that one. As well as everybody else that jumped up that night. So thank you again. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again this Friday. Oh, sorry. Hopefully we will definitely be doing it again this Friday, and hopefully with everybody in the house this time. What a week. It's been an interesting, bizarre little twist week.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about it?
It's always busy. There's so much going on. There's so much coming up. So I don't know. We all have to be paying attention to everything that's happening. It's starting to wind up. It's getting a little bit outrageous. We had Nazi rallies and things are starting to get real. People are feeling very emboldened and we need to shut this shit down.
It's true. And we're going to be getting to a lot of those because you're absolutely right. I mean, one of the big ones is definitely a larger emboldening. Speaking of emboldened, there's definitely a lot more emboldened. There's a lot more entitlement. There's a lot more the inside voices coming out, and they're coming out a lot more.
Yeah,
and it's
talking about decapitating people and full-on Nazi salutes. It's ridiculous, and I can't believe that it's happening right before our eyes in our own province, in our own country. So. And which brings me to, just before we get into the rest of the stuff here, and even before, as we're seeing in the chat here, one of the things I did not bring up and I did not get prepared for, but I want to see if we can take a minute or two just discuss briefly before this is, aside from the additional rallies we're going to be showing to you guys in regards to, because I try to focus a lot more on the Canadian stuff in regards to stuff immediately around Ottawa, and Ontario, and then further out in Canada as we're going along. But even, as far down as Ohio, which is not really that far away, where we saw full-fledged Nazis coming out there too. And I only bring it up because this is kind of a theme of what's going on in regards to this, not just events, but as we're going to be going on in regards to this is just a bigger theme that just seems to be getting not just repeated, but getting louder and more common and more. And it's something that we can't ignore anymore, and nor should we be ignoring at all. Everybody up, everybody out.
Exactly. So, but before, let's start off with something a little lighter, which is one Wellington Street reopened on Friday night. So this year, showing us Wellington Street was now opened up officially from the news. And with that, even though as many of us disagreed, they opened it back up. They decided to let the streets open. They decided to let traffic go through, even against both the general public and the federal government for security reasons, wanting to keep Wellington closed to just pedestrian traffic only.
And the regular public want it closed for security too. So
absolutely, but Sutcliffe being Sutcliffe,
we have a mayor that doesn't represent his people, pretty much.
Absolutely. So I do have a clip for it. So take a peek, guys. Oh, sorry. No.
Yeah, I'm good.
Come on, guys. The light is red.
Here we go.
Count me where as soon as it turns green.
Here we go. Wellington Street reopening.
Hold the line.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah! Right. Woo! Wellington Street is open. Wellington Street is open. Beautiful. On Wellington. Traffic is rolling down Wellington. Got to watch our backs now as we cross the street.
Is that four cars? Was that 5 cars?
As there's about 4 or 5 cars. I don't know if you noticed the Boucher mobile there. It's kind of hard to miss. Yeah. Has that podium there that they use all the time. Yeah. So I'm just looking at that. I'm like, it's the Boucher mobile. But
that was pretty pathetic. That was
it was. So that was the return of the convoy coming on there. All 4 or 5 vehicles circling the parliamentary building because on Friday at 5 o'clock, apparently Prime Minister is still there.
Chudwitting.
Yeah, and honking. And so now not only are they going to be able to protest on Parliament, they're going to be able to spend more money on gas, paying more luxury tax to Trudeau.
It's another thing they can complain about. It's too expensive to protest in our cars.
It's true.
Oh Lord!
I mean, it is kind of funny because I mean I saw the Boucher mobile, which can't be cheap to drive around. I mean, it's a fucking SUV.
Yeah.
And he's got the podium sticking up there, which is catching wind, which is going to slow him down even more and cost more money. But I'm like, great. These guys thought, it's like now it's going to be open. They're going to be winning.
What are you winning? What are you winning? I don't understand. Just the fact that it's open and now you can't take over the street? Because they can't. Like now the cars have to go through. So they don't get to sit in the middle of the street like they did before with their boom box and their Tom McDonald blaring and whatever else crappy music they like to play.
Okay.
So winning. Yeah. Mochi thinks they're winning.
Mochi definitely thinks they're winning. It's exactly that. I mean, it's these guys are being kicked off they're being kicked off the road. They already had the police call on them once to say like, no, get off the fucking road.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like maybe the secret was to reopen Wellington so that there would be more opportunity to remove these guys because they are a like an actual nuisance. Oh, I get somebody who's joining us too. Hi.
Oops. Oh, shit. So, we lost Deana. So I'm assuming she's just had a bit of a technical difficulties because of a cat. Excellent. So, yeah, these guys have already been warned one time. They've already been told by the police that don't be on the streets. Don't protest in the middle of the street anymore. There's now traffic. There's now vehicles. There's now cars. You guys are now lower on the priority. Stick to the sidewalks. Which I think is going to be... Welcome
He's a
back.
saboteur.
Welcome back.
He's a resistance cat.
He is a resistance cat. Ari's like, nope. No more talking to you, mamas.
Saboteur.
Definitely a saboteur. So, as I was telling the audience here, filling in, they've already been told once that you need to get off the streets. They've already gotten warnings there. And I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see where they're thinking they're winning, but I'm like, you're actually losing ground here. And I'll bring up the two reasons why. One, the street's now opened. Therefore, they can't be on the streets anymore. Boombox middle of the street, that's just not going to fly.
Yep.
OPS is going to keep hassling them with that. Number two, and this is a video we showed last week, which was Dirksen being kicked off the Terry Fox Square when the NCC kicked them off. So the NCC kicked them off of their area. OPS is going to be kicking off the public street because they're the hindrance to the highway. They're going to be stuck to the sidewalks, which is either going to be right in front of the NCC or on the other side in front of the gates. Now, either one is good for them, but it's you now are really kind of limited to there. And then after that, nobody's anything that you're going to be able to do. Like that's literally it. Like that's it. I mean, I don't think
they didn't do much before either, so nothing really changes. So they feel like they're winning. I mean, cool.
Well, they're not going to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got nothing else to do. I mean, there's only one thing they know what to do.
Because all they know is how to masturbate.
We may have also upgraded the soundboard for this episode and future episodes.
That's deep projection, eh?
Yeah. There you guys go.
Very deep projection. Milkshake.
Milkshake indeed. Moving on. So.
Moving on.
Well, now. So, moving on, we're now going down to Toronto, down to the main event. So, Toronto had Toronto Drag Story Time, which brings us over to, and I need to start using the new screens. So, I have designed new screens for us to use, and this hopefully gives you guys a better view in regards to images and videos as we're going. This will improve as we're going along. So, this weekend that just passed on the 29th, Save Canada decided to go protest in front of the Toronto Public Library. And as I will attest to firsthand experience, as well as Deana, both of us have dealt with firsthand experience of dealing with Save Canada. Watching this was a little interesting. And everybody here knows how that got interesting in regards to new elements that got in and jumped in there. It is
Does everybody know?
Yeah. We're going to get and we'll cover those all as we're going through.
Some people aren't aware.
So now the event came out on the 29th, and luckily people local to Toronto, they jumped in there and they started jumping out and saying, we need to get more people out. We need to start doing stuff, and we need to get them out there as soon as possible. Yeah. So they did a fair amount there. And they got a good defense there. So we were really, really good and glad to see that got put in there. But before we get into the more serious stuff, I want to have a little bit of entertainment. So one of the things is Toronto is renowned for their police force, but in particular, their mounted police force.
Police force.
Their police horse. So the police force and the police force. And I'm quite convinced that our dear friend Daisy is not just, as La Blue Noser would say, is triggered, but I think there's a genuine fear of phobia or trauma. Like
because
there is something
from the
there.
Convoy and the police horses. So they make fun of us for phantom honking. Well,
no, there's phantom horses in that boy.
There is.
I'm sure of it, but if you ask him, he'll say, nay.
Nay. Exactly.
Holy fuck!
For your cooperation! For everybody's safety, this sidewalk has to be clear!
Holy fuck!
Watch your toes, son! Watch your toes!
Watch your fucking horse, dude!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, nice to see you!
Excuse me!
Watch your toes!
Excuse me! Dude, share this! This horse... Holy fuck, man!
So like I'm saying,
Hey!
this sidewalk needs to
Hey!
stay clear! Okay, thank you very much! Watch your
Dude.
toes. Thank you.
Well, fuck, a horse is not the answer, man! You think a fucking horse is the answer? Crazy bastard! Get that fucking animal away from me! Look at this crap! Share this! Now what you think you're doing with that fucking horse? Are you keeping the bait? Here comes the horse. This horse is gonna hurt someone. You know this horse? When someone gets hurt, that's on every single one of you guys. Hey, when someone gets hurt, that's on you guys. Hey!
Thank you. Let's just keep this sidewalk.
You are a
clear, okay?
disgrace.
Thank you ever so much.
Get that war horse out of here. Get that fucking war horse out of here. Funny, eh? Funny shit, man. Fucking funny. You know, I have friends that got trampled by horses. They were from Peel region. They trampled an indigenous woman in Ottawa. It's not fucking funny. Oh, well,
Watch your toes.
Get
Thank
them.
you.
dude. You all right with this? You guys all okay? Play this game all day. Craziness. Dude, he's trying to get away from your fucking horse. You fucking crazy bastards. Dude, how many times is enough? How many times is enough? How many people need to get hit by this horse before we call off the horses? You guys not have cops here that don't even like fucking horses? Come on, man. 20 fucking Toronto police officers, a pile of shit, and a horse is running people over. 20 of you aren't enough? You need a horse to beat us? 20 aren't enough? Clean up your fucking horse's mess, too. That's a damn war horse, man. They sent war horses on us in Ottawa, you know. Move your horses. We are not...
That is the. I didn't see that. I'll be honest. I didn't see that. And the war horses. They're war horses.
There was, yeah. It took me a while to make.
Trying to like bump up the horse, like Josh.
Oh yeah.
Get this on film. Meanwhile, Daisy's filming. Get this.
So the best part of that is like. It truly feels watching this thing like no, he's got some legit trauma, fear, phobia, like of horses, and I'm sure it predates even the convoy. Like that's
yells at squirrels on his lawn. That's angry grandpa right there. Like that guy.
It is
like
he's just like freaked out by the horse. I'm just like, oh my god, that's legit. And I could have extended that because there was some more footage when that was there. I didn't catch the whole thing. But I figure we all got a good sense of like, no, this bitch is afraid of horses.
Oh man. And the fact that he's like asking every cop, "Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? This war horse? Are you okay with this?" The guy on the horse is like, "Back away. You need to create space."
Yeah.
They're doing that for a reason. So you back away, but instead you see these guys like pushing into the horse and they're running over people. Oh, that was too. You need to clip. So yeah, we have one Daisy one. You need to clip. They're coming out with the horse or whatever he just said. It was just.
Oh yeah, well, that clip I might be able to push it. If people are interested, I could push it out to Twitter, or I might extend it a little bit. I did the additional footage that's missing because the second footage there when they're after that, he's just freaking out the cop like, "You and their fucking horse!" Just fucking losing his shit with it.
Who's gonna clean up the horse? Do you mind cleaning up the horse's shit? Like,
well,
dude.
that particular like that pretty shitty part of the business there in regards to the horse, like by the end of the rally, it got pretty shitty for Nick's cowboy boots.
Nice.
That kind of happened.
Nick who was pushing up against
Yes.
the horse, whatever. It's one of the two terror tots, 3,
Yeah,
4, 5,
that one was it was Nick, and I'll explain where Josh was a little bit later. Let's not ruin the whole line of everything.
Yes.
But yeah, so
I
Nick was
now.
so Nick was there, and he looks like he ruined his boots. Now, I will say for the Save Canada boys compared to Daisy, they were able to handle a horse a little bit better. Like they did not freak out. I'll also say in regards to the horse itself, and other people have commented on it in regards to the horse and just the training and everything else involved. Those are some amazingly patient animals.
Yeah.
Incredibly well trained, and understandably, police horses are very well trained in regards to being able to handle all sorts of stuff. These animals go into crowds. Their idea and it's the concept there is they'll go through and they'll slowly walk the horse back and forth on the sidewalk, aside from depositing little treats, but mostly it's a large thing that will kind of like intimidate people just to keep the division. I understand the tactic of what they're doing, and I get that.
Sense. Like, why do those guys?
Yeah.
Hey, let's just pause for a second. We need to pull this. This is really important.
Mm-hmm.
They keep trying to say that the defenders are the ones attacking them, but the horse walking through to create the division, who are the people complaining about creating that division? It's not the defenders. The defenders are exactly where they were, right? And then the horse is coming through and they take a step back. It's the convoys and the bigots and those guys who are pushing into the horse because they require being in the defenders' faces and pushing into the defenders. It's clear as day. So go ahead. So that's the point of the horse is to create the division.
It absolutely is. Now, the one thing I will say, and it's not to both sides or anything, is I think they were more upset about it too, and it might have been a little bit different because the defenders themselves did not need to move for the horse. They were up there to the point and they stayed. The horse walked in front of them. They didn't need to move. They didn't budge. The protesters, they were trying to get to the defenders.
So it's not even like they didn't need to move because they stood where they were told to stand.
So yeah, absolutely. So the protesters were a little bit more agitated because they were told to move as opposed to by the horse. By a fucking war horse.
No. They were told to move after they created a smaller space that they weren't supposed to create.
Yep.
That's why they had to move, not because
by a fucking war horse
there. And the defenders are the ones who moved up, and the horse was picking on these clowns. No, defenders. We've been to many of these things. The defenders stand where they stand and they keep their feet planted. And these guys always come up on the defenders. We've put out enough footage to show. And now you can even see who is creating the most noise when the police and the horse and whatever are trying to create that space that's required to keep everybody safe. The only people complaining are the ones who are trying to cause the violence, the fighting, the footage, the setups, all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they did a fair amount of work in regard. They did a lot of hollering, they did a lot of screaming, and a lot of hootering for that. But I mean, like it's literally just.
Well, I think he was just being a drama queen, to be honest. Like it sounded hilarious for real. Like he was just like, "Oh my, it's a war horse!" Like Daisy,
drama? No, Daisy's not a drama queen. No.
You're ridiculous, and like, it's just sad. It's so embarrassing. God, if I had a man that acted like that, holy crap! Like, just snap out of it, man. Like, what? Pull yourself together, man.
That was the most Cher moment right there. Snap out of it.
Snap the fuck out of it.
It's beautiful.
He needs better friends.
Yeah, he needs better life choices. So aside from Daisy's now home somewhere recovering from more horse trauma. So other events that did occur there during that time here is somebody by the name of Mr. Josh Bigger, aka Mr. Freedom. Many people here will know him as he's been pretty active in the anti-vax community and everything else. One of the things he decided to do there during this time is decide to try to disguise himself as an Antifa person to jump in there. And he was kind of doing that at the beginning, but did not last too long as people connected, messaged each other, and also it's just Josh Bigger who cannot shut up and not be offensive when he talks, and ergo, people caught him rather quickly.
Oh, he thinks he's funny.
Yeah, a lot of them do think they're funny, and it's one of those that's it's kind of awkward when you're like. It is.
You know, like
it is, and it's they jumped in. They him and two other friends kind of jumped in there trying to be that. It's always kind of, I think it's kind of interesting in regards to, okay, they're trying to be somewhat creative because these guys are not really that smart. So so once they start becoming a little creative, I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Something of an interesting tactic, but to which I got the feeling this guy is not going to be able to do it too often because people are going to be a little bit more aware, and he's just not really subtle at all.
Hey, somebody wants to know for the drag shows, I far would prefer to watch drag story time and show my daughter that than show a grown man yelling at a fucking horse and trying to take on a horse. So if you guys are concerned about what our children are seeing, maybe start with yourselves, okay? You're making asses of yourself in front of the entire public. You're doing Nazi salutes. You're yelling things like you're going to decapitate people. So don't question whether or not we're okay with our children watching or seeing a wholesome anti-bullying campaign reading a story. Welcome to the show. Carry on.
It's true. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we keep on retweeting over and over about pedophiles being caught and arrested, and it's amazing the amount of frequency. Queen. It's amazing the amount of frequency that's constantly not a drag queen. Yep. There's weekly arrests around North America of multitudes of people. They tend to be.
This guy Jeremy Acker is a pedophile. Ted Buck says he's a pedo.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But
he talks about murdering people. He's okay with that.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
But so moving on, because Jeremy's not worth it.
It's a piece of shit.
Let's see here. What's next? So aside from Mr. Bigger, who's again, I brought him up just because he's going to have a certain amount of activity in regards to. He's always going to be trying to do some stuff, and it was kind of interesting to see him there. We did get to see what's his face, Nico in there. We didn't quite see him directly.
Nico.
Yeah. So it was not quite there, but I just wanted to bring it up. Like, all right, so you're there, and I was seriously sure he was going to be gone. We're not going to be seeing him for a long, long time. But it turns out, no, he's there. So I'm like, all right, cool. But again, it gets a little bit more darker, a little gets more twisted, and we slowly move over to
The white supremacists and the Nazis.
the Nazis. And we'll start off with the first one, which would be Gus Stefano. Did I get that right?
Stephenson or something.
Gus Stephanus. There we go.
Stephanus.
Who showed up there. Now, he's been at the previous York rally. And so this is where I was alluding to in regards to, no, this shit is getting more consistent in regards to, this is now the second time in the Toronto area that we got a Nazi, like full-fledged Nazi right there. And if that's not worse, right beside on his left, that's one of the guys from the White Lives Matter. If you're not sure who those are, there's all of them right there. And yeah, we blurred out their white pride hand symbols because, Nazis. Because now that's, and this is where I'm kind of annoyed. These guys are getting bolder. They're coming up to the rallies now. Before that, it was just kind of guys who were kind of, big on Christian and whatnot. But now it's, no, flat out.
Yeah, they're all going to come out, and we're all going to come out, and we're all going to shut them down. So we just need to keep outnumbering them. And the defenders did outnumber these assholes. So that's key.
Yeah. But we need to keep coming out, and it's something that's important. So let's take a look at these guys in play.
What's up, Safe Canada? Hey! Support Josh Alexander! Yeah! White Lives Matter, Toronto! Who wants to sign? Anybody want to sign? I got one to go.
Oh yeah, I think he's all right. He's with us. Like, I never know who's friend or foe around here. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yeah. Some people need to protect their identity. I get it.
Oh, there we go.
What's up, Ruth?
Okay, who we got?
Good.
I never know who's friend or foe coming up.
So yeah, we got both sides.
There we go.
Oh, good news.
Yeah.
Right.
My boy from Florida is gonna be here soon,
Based.
and the people using the right's gonna be here soon.
Yeah, I got you. Hopefully everyone comes. Yes.
I don't know who that is, but
Old friend of mine who I got rid of a while ago.
oh yeah. Yeah, we'll try to keep him calm down, but I mean, I understand that.
A little bit high energy, that's all.
Yeah. I understand why people are upset. Want to keep cooler heads prevail.
I'm from White Lives Matter, Toronto, here to protest the degeneracy.
Children is not normal! Your kids are not acceptable! Leave your sexual preferences at home! We don't want them! We won't let them have it in our city! Pedophilia is wrong! And you watch, in 5 years, all of you protest sexualization of children by perverts who want to see our kids sexualized. Children were innocent. We once had a righteous country.
So, I want to thank the anonymous person that made prep that video there.
So,
Saved me a lot of time, but there's a lot to digest.
Said this a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
He meets them, and then he says, "Oh, it's hard to tell who's friend and who's foe." And then the guy tells him, "We're from White Lives Matter," and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah. It's hard for."
Thank you for pointing that one out.
And who's foe. Okay, so you're cool with it then, Daisy, are ya? You're fucking cool with these racist Nazi pieces of shit. You just said, like, you didn't call him on it. And it's just like, oh yeah. And then he has the nerve to say, after he kept saying to the defenders over and over again, why do you fucking cover your face? Why do you hide your face? You must be doing something wrong. Then he sees fuckface with the White Lives Matter t-shirt holding the white sign, whatever. And he's cool with the fact because he totally gets that some people need to hide their identity. Right, Daisy? This is how the rules work. It's good for you. Freedom for thee, or freedom for me, but not for thee. Like, fuck off. Fuck right off with that. All of it is just a load of hypocrisy. Garbage. He's a garbage piece of shit. They're all garbage pieces of shit. And I wouldn't be sorry if I saw somebody punch one of those Nazis in the face. I said it. I'm not taking it back.
Well, you know, there is a whole adage of punch Nazis. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the first particular point there that you said, which is like, he came up and said, you know, yay, Josh. And like, yeah, yay, Josh, White Lives Matter, Toronto. Right from the get-go.
Yep. Held the white sign.
There's no fucking confusion. Yeah. There's no confusion in regards to, like, he came out to say, we're from White Lives Matter, Toronto.
Three times he said it? Yeah.
About 3 times, but
it was 3 times. Over and over again. To his face,
agreed.
To his camera.
Yeah. Agreed. But it's right from the get-go. Within the first 10 seconds, he introduces himself.
Yep.
White Lives Matter, Toronto. You know right there, this guy is White Lives Matter, Toronto. Even if you don't know exactly what that is, like, if you hear White Lives Matter, anything, and you're not sure if that might be Nazi, you need to get the fuck back to school.
Yeah. He knows what it is. And
Everybody knows what it is.
And then he turned around and said, oh yeah, because it's really hard to tell who's friend and who's foe. Therefore, he's a friend, right? Right, Nazi Daisy? Right?
Yeah. They've definitely moved to a different level now.
We have. We saw it coming.
We did. It's a little frustrating. It's a little disappointing. These guys are, and it's one of those things that we've said even since the convoys, like, if you are comfortable and are okay with people who are fascist in beliefs in your, you know, there's 2 takeaways from that. One, why are fascists and Nazis comfortable with your idea?
Yeah. If you guys are saying the same words.
Yeah. Is there something maybe in what you're saying that maybe make you think, fascists like my ideas?
And on that point, remember when they kept saying at the convoy there was no racism, there were no flags, there were no white Nazis, whatever, white symbol signs, all that stuff? Well, now we just saw them. They even recorded it themselves where they were quite comfortable hanging around with people who were flashing the white symbol sign.
And gestures and all.
And the Nazi salute. And it was totally cool. So I guess we're not making that up, are we, guys? Like, fuck you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's one of those, like, you know, like, and this is where I tie in with, you know, this particular weekend was, I was watching this and I was a little bit, I should have been able to grab the videos a little bit better, but I was taken still a little bit aback by watching what was going on in Toronto, at the same time watching what was going on in Ohio, watching the guys in the red shirts. That was crazy. The drag queen, though, in Ohio, I think she's absolutely incredible for actually jumping out to the front and performing directly in front of them. Mm-hmm. Hero. Tough ass drag queen. But it's still one of those, things, you know, I'm like, that's even though there's some interesting, wonderful kind of wins in regards to watching the drag queens sing into them to say that, you know, they won't be moved, which again, totally support. It's still the volume and the amount of overt, fearless messaging on the parts of the Nazi and the far right to come out and just be absolutely blunt and open about their messaging.
Who's stopping them? Nobody.
Nobody's stopping them.
No, and then
They're
have
coming
other people
right out.
standing. Yeah, they're having other people stand beside them,
Yeah,
increasing their numbers.
absolutely. There were more Nazis at this event in Toronto than there were at the previous event. And the previous event was in North York.
Yeah.
Only a couple of weeks ago. Gus was there.
Yeah.
He was a Nazi there.
Yeah.
This time, there was him and the White Lives Matter Toronto. What the fuck's going to be at the next one?
And what the hell does White Lives Matter have anything to do with drag story time? Honestly, I mean,
Something
I know
for them to
they're
hate.
idiots. Like, it's ridiculous. All of it's ridiculous.
It is. But it's, and to me, I'm kind of using that as sort of, these guys are just going to go up and keep increasing.
No, they're not going to keep increasing. They are who they are. They have as many people as they have.
Sorry, I meant like there's going to be increasing numbers.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's what I mean.
Maybe. I think it's give or take. I think like we have to keep bringing our people out, and they're going to keep getting drowned out.
That's my point.
Yeah. One of these days, it's all going to come to a head. This is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Like having these shows and everybody always, you know, protesting, defending. It's not sustainable. It's not affordable. Like these are police resources being used up. We're not going to stop. And if drag queens aren't willing to do it anymore, which they're not going to do that, I'm going to start performing as a drag king. I'm like, I will keep this shit going as long as it takes. I will do it in the park. I will do it on Rideau Street. I will do it anywhere. We will all start doing it. We all just start fucking going out and doing drag performances until they just quiet themselves and go away. I don't like whatever the answer is, but this is not sustainable. So either we hash it out and we take care of it, or you know, the city starts putting in bylaws, which is sad that this has to happen. Maybe it's working in Calgary. I'm not sure, but we know this is going to keep going. And like until these people stop getting funded, because they are being funded, we know this. Billboard Chris is coming. He's hanging out with all these different people here. He is definitely funded by the right wing in the United States. That's how he can travel everywhere. That's how he can, you know, make sure he participates in whatever legislation, however he participates in that stupid legislation where he is ripping people's bodily autonomy away from them with his bigoted bullshit, with these governments that are elected by a minority of people. Like, we need to shut this shit down. Josh, Nick, Save Canada, they're being funded. Like, we need to end it.
So, and if you guys don't think they're organizing themselves better and preparing for more, the reason why Josh wasn't there at this particular event is that in Toronto, he was here. Meeting up with Chris, Billboard Chris.
Billboard Chris and whatever.
And Rupa Subramania. She's a journalist for
right-wing journalist. True.
Yeah, she's blocked me, but she blocks everybody because
shame.
Yeah, I know. I get blocked by a fair amount of them, which is weird. I get blocked more than you do. And you're far more vocal than I am.
Because they want to come and trash me on my thread. It has nothing to do with anything else other than they want access to trash me on my thread.
I know I'm more difficult to trash. I've been described
What's that
as.
supposed to mean?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know, but that's what I've been. It's like no, it was somebody who was. I think it was Smooth that said like, I am absolutely abrasive online at times if I get against somebody. I'm like,
No, it's because you hurt their feelings more because they don't expect it, like when you do that. And so
That's true.
it's like their father being disappointed with them, and it's just like it breaks their heart, right?
I'm the disappointed father.
You're the disappointed father, and I am the disciplinary mother.
There you go. You disappointed daddy.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not wrong.
I think it's probably like a female male thing too. I think they just enjoy bashing women a lot more than they like bashing guys. The women on the right just as much as the men on the right. Like it's
No,
very
that's fair.
which hey, bring it. I enjoy clapping back to
Nope,
your
agreed.
attempts. Their attempts.
Totally agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, their attempts has been kind of interesting in regards to, and yeah, their attempts online in regards to Twitter and threads is one thing, but I mean, this here was definitely this sort of, a larger organizing.
Yeah.
That particular image there kind of makes me think June 9th is something we want to get
Yeah,
people
we need
to.
as many people as possible
Yeah.
to come out.
Follow us, keep an eye on us. We're going to keep stuff informed. June 9th, if you could show up there, it's a Friday. I understand it. If you guys can take the day off, great. If you can't, that's
Friday,
fine.
Summer. I know school is still on,
Yeah.
but if you guys can make your way up here as well. If you're from out of town, if you're from Montreal, if you're from Peterborough, if you're from wherever, this is important. Billboard Chris is a piece of crap and he needs to be shut down.
Absolutely. We need to
lot of
make an impression on this one.
Yep.
It's going to be, and especially since they're trying to ramp this one up, and we already have a good idea, even without sort of a big ramping up of additional forces, we can already tell it's going to be a fair amount. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys know the numbers as well as we do. We tell you guys about this all the time. Aside from Billboard Chris and his usuals, and the last time we showed you, he had 2 people in tow, which was, the wonderful Shannon Boshi. Again, if you don't know my sarcasm, you should know by now. And Chanel Fowl. But he's now going to have Save Canada and everything that chains cross with that.
Yeah. So anybody who was at the OCDSB board meeting that was outside, they're all going to be there. Whatever.
It's not going to be
None
3
of them
people this one.
actually have a job, so I'll actually have to take the day off on that day. We're actually shutting down all of the offices. My staff is going to come out. We're coming out.
Indeed. If you can come out, by all means, keep an eye on us. We're going to be getting you guys information.
Take a personal day, everybody. It's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Did Mochi? Was that Mochi?
Oh, no. Mochi's right here.
Okay.
He's good. He's, being a little bit affectionate. So, yeah, you guys get a little bit of puppy on this episode. So enjoy that.
Had a cat kick me off.
Yeah.
Saboteur.
See how ferocious he looks? I know.
Aw, Mochi.
It is. He's 8 pounds of ferociousness. Be afraid. So that's it for that. Now we did have another one, and I kind of like this particular story. So I'm going to go through the specifics on this one. And this was another drag story time that occurred while we did not realize it. So during the time that this Toronto was going on in
London.
in London, but it's not London specifically. I do have
Strathroy Pride.
Yeah, so this one is actually in Parkhill, Ontario.
Yeah.
So Parkhill, Ontario. I've got the notes here, so good. Now,
It's right on there. It says Parkhill Library.
There we go. Yeah. So Parkhill Library, they did a drag story time. Now Strathroy Pride got information that their local people were going to be doing some protesting there. So they sent out a red flag saying, we need help defending. And it's sad that nobody here was able to see it, whatnot, because, and obviously Toronto probably got a lot more.
7 hours away.
London 7 hours away. Yeah, there's no way we're going to show up.
Yeah.
But what I thought, so here's the drag queens doing the story time as I'm going through some of the CBC footage. Who did a CTV footage, did a fantastic job. But what did show up to defend them, aside from some locals, was also, I want to get their name right because they deserve it. Wind Sisters Motorcycle Gang.
Yay!
Yeah.
Nice.
They showed up. They're quite proudly a lesbian motorcycle gang.
Yeah.
They showed up and defended. They made a chain in front of the place and blocked off any interference whatsoever.
Nice.
So they
That's
came in.
awesome.
Oh, incredible. They came in to pretty much defend when there wasn't very much to defend there. With very little. And they did a fantastic job. They blocked off as much. There was a few. Now, they didn't have as many people to contend with, which was great. It gave them the good edge, but they did a phenomenal job. They were in their face of anybody who's trying to get in there. They did not mess around.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I saw a video of them there in action. I'm like, yeah, that's what Deana would do.
They're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Somebody actually asked me to reach out to our local, because they have different chapters. And so I thought it was a great idea. Of course, I haven't done it yet. If anybody has any contacts with the local biker gang, like
Wind Sisters?
Yeah. Well, it's not. I don't think they're all called Wind Sisters. I'm not sure. I'll have to look back at the DM that I got. It was a really great idea, but they have different lesbian biker gangs, different chapters. I don't know. Maybe Wind Sisters is like that chapter.
Yeah.
So maybe each chapter has their own name. I'm not sure.
I may have a connection there.
Yeah, so we need to connect with them so that they can come out and bring all their people as well, anybody they know.
Somebody mentioned to me, so I think we may have a connection there. So if they know what it is, they can reach out to me and you. That'll be fantastic.
Do it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since we're trying to cover as much areas to respond to around Ontario, and especially with Billboard Chris, if we can get more defense there. Yeah, let's do it.
June 9th.
More people.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a big one. And again, it's just one of those, I'm so impressed with that. So happy about that. Mm-hmm. It was well done. So now we go to more less eventy and more personality.
Is it about my
No, not you,
weekend,
not you.
Or we're not
not
there?
you.
Okay.
We're not. Who wants to talk about you? Who wants to talk about you, woman?
Everybody wants to
Nobody wants to talk about you. What are you talking about? No, we're not to you yet. We got one more thing before you.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see it.
So, I don't know about you know about this guy, but Mr. Jeremy Glass.
Jeremy.
Yes. Mr. Glass has so it's funny because there's
thrown stones.
He's thrown stones.
Stones thrown back.
Yeah. So, and he's exiting the entire thing.
Goodbye.
Absolutely. We'll go into that. It's funny too because we've also been watching recently, as of today, somebody we both know, Mr. LaFasse, also exiting as. His is less exciting as he's more just he needs a job because he needs money.
Exodus. Lots of people.
Absolutely.
Bye.
So
I
Bye,
shouldn't have
bitch.
used Bob Marley's song for those people. They don't deserve Bob Marley's song.
Fair
Take
enough.
it all back. I take it all back. But it was playing in my head, so I had to.
Fair
like,
enough. You were moved and you were
I was
inspired, and I
moved.
get that. So, Lavasi's leaving goes, but again, he just needs financial reasons. Jeremy's is a little bit more. I want to say, as I'm queuing up the video here and trying to find the right words for it.
What?
His
He's
is a little
loser,
bit.
and his girlfriend left him because he picked another girl over his.
It's very
baby
much
mama.
Springer. It's very much
Yeah.
Springer.
But
So,
he's like
hang on.
talking about somebody else being a home wrecker.
Wait. I have a video.
Yeah, play it.
So I'm not going to talk about what I need to talk about in front of my daughters here. I just want to give you guys a little idea of what I am fighting for. Here, Scarlett. So this brings me great despair doing this live because I have never posted anything about my personal life before. I don't like dragging my dirty laundry. So at Christmas, I got back together with my daughter's mother. Did my best. I just wanted to be a family, I think. But I brought her into our cause. I introduced her to everyone. Everything was good. She instantly became jealous of a friend of mine, Lindsay. Many of you know Lindsay as well. I've had a guy, John Keller, in the Shelburne Freedom family. Many of you know him and his snaky ways, but he's done many things in the past, like throw private meetings without letting me know, and then saying that he's speaking for me at these meetings. He was trying to steal the Shelburne rally from me for some reason. Olivia got all upset that I went to a protest for a couple hours. Lindsay happened to be present at. It was at a school speaking out against this woke agenda. And started a massive fight about it. Started putting nasty posts up online about Lindsay. She got a video from a different party where the girls were joking around talking about Olivia. This video got out there accidentally by somebody not with any poor intentions, and posted that up, attacking my friend Crystal Peters and Nikki, and leave your personal life at home, people. But it's the great despair to me that I find out that John is with my mother's child right now. Sorry, I lost you there. Yeah, so John is with my mother's child right now, and they're going to the same rally that I will be going to today, the 3-year anniversary of Toronto. I've had my suspicions the last 2 weeks, but I am figuring it out now. It all came to light now. I gave John the opportunity to come clean and said, hey, who are you going to the Toronto rally with tomorrow? He was just going to show up there with my girlfriend and the mother of my child. And surprise me, I guess. Surprise! Hey, guess what? Stealing your rally in Shelburne didn't work out too well for me, so I thought I would attack your family. There is no room in our cause for home wreckers. And I don't know how much more of this I could do, but I could do one more day of it anyways. And I'm going to march with my daughter. I'm going to pull in her little wagon, and I know I'm going to have lots of good friends standing beside me. I love all of you. It's been a run, and I'm afraid that this run ends for me today. My fight's now in a courtroom.
So I just want to point out also he was saying at one point, child of my mother. I'm like, and I was going to clip that. I'm like, I don't know, it's not quite within the flow.
It's the thing these guys say.
But child of my mother, I'm like, if you're an only child, bud, child of my mother means you. Are you coming out? As being
Child
with John?
Mother, yes.
Exactly. Child of my mother's mother of my child is very different than child of my mother.
He starts the conversation with Lindsay was the problem. And somehow he's turned it around. And I don't even care. This sounds, like you said, very Jerry Springer. But if your girlfriend, Olivia, is telling you that you're spending way too much time with another woman and there are some issues there. You've picked your path. I mean, I'm not saying that he had to pick his girlfriend. He didn't have to, and he didn't. And then she, walked away from the relationship. So who cares? Like, John, I don't know. What am I even talking about? I'm like picking apart this fucking
You're
bullshit.
picking apart an episode of Jerry Springer. You're picking apart an episode of Jerry Springer. That's literally what's going on here.
So dumb.
You could see
And I really
Jeremy, Olivia, Lindsay, and John on stage.
And then they get up and they're gonna start fighting, and Olivia
and Jerry's
says she
coming
pissed
there,
on
Jerry.
Lindsay's toothbrush, and Lindsay's like, "You bitch! I killed your rabbit."
And in all this, there's a paternity test going on. It's the whole chaos thing. It's
John's
absolutely
baby. It's John's baby, Jeremy. Sorry to tell you.
I'm not the dad. You don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know my deal.
It's so ridiculous, all of it. But I really held out hope that Olivia was like, okay, this guy's a loser, so I need to take care of my family and walk away from this loser. But no, she picks another fucking loser. So whatever, they're all doomed to hell. Poor kids. Whatever, man. Whatever.
So that was the video, by the way. So for a little bit of context, that particular video there was one that he sent out, I believe was Sunday morning or Saturday morning. Saturday morning before he went to the rally.
Yeah.
And so there's a rally there where he's speaking there. And this is also going on at the same time as Toronto rally. So again, Saturday was a busy thing, but Toronto was kind of focused there. And he went there, he did a speech, and he does his usual Shelburne thing where he goes, does a speech. This time he brought the child, as some people were commenting on. And I didn't bother bringing the video because you see his daughter there in the middle of the rain while he's having a speech and asking people to look at her. I'm like, that's just kind of weird and awkward, but and sad now thinking about everything going on, because I'm like, your daughter is kind of like center point of a really shitty trailer park kind of thing going on there. I'm just like, even Ricky and his girlfriend weren't that fucked up. So
no, parents need to play nice whenever they've split
Lucy,
up.
that was her
And
name.
Lucy, Lucy, yeah, Lucy.
Ricky and Lucy.
Anyway,
yeah. So yeah. So I mean, it's kind of one of those kind of messed up things. And
so
it was
now
like,
he's retiring.
He's retiring. So
He's hanging up his jersey.
He's made a large post here in regards to everything that he's done, and it's this big going away. He's talked about all the things he's done, which is not doing much.
That's a small resume.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. It's a fair amount of stuff he talks about. He's been fighting hard, fighting for freedom, but it's kind of taking a look into him.
Freedom just isn't happening for him. He's still not free to be with Lindsay and with Olivia, which is totally fucking unfair, because as a man, he should be able to be with both. Freedom. Right? Is that right? Is that what he wants?
Sounds about right. That sounds about right. I mean, no, I'm not going to say he's with Lindsay more than whatever.
I don't even care.
And you're right. I couldn't care less.
He said Lindsay more times than Olivia in that rant, by the way. If anybody wants to go back and listen to that, Lindsay's name came up way more than Olivia's. Just saying.
I feel Deana doesn't really like trash TV, but once she gets hooked into one of those shows, she really is in there.
Milkshake.
Oh, somebody's milkshake was definitely like there. I'm not sure who's, but yeah, definitely there's milkshake going on all around for sure. So Gloss is out. LaFassi is out, as we all know, because he's needs money to deal with the Carabeaver that's just not beaming much anymore.
And rent and other things that normal people have to do to survive.
Absolutely. It is one of those things.
Isn't working.
Yeah. It has to do a lot with yeah. So I mean, and going back again full circle to everything we're watching here is the convite people that are kind of just convite dummies, I want to say. They're kind of fading a little bit. Glass is going away. Lavasi is going away. But we're starting to see the more concerning players to come into place, like WLM Toronto, and other louder voices like Billboard Chris and whatnot. These are louder, stronger. Kevin Goudreau. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've been seeing these stronger right wings voices from Peterborough to Toronto.
Like, I mean, Joe, like, honestly, I just want to put it out here. You and I have only really been doing this since August of last year.
Yeah.
So these assholes very well had been coming out before, and we see that in in revived tweets that people like Tony Weiss and Not a Convite and TikTok Scientist, Vancouverism, Al Content. Is it AI content? Is it Al Content?
Al Content.
That one. Okay, Al Content.
I know which
like
one. Yeah.
These people are putting out threads about these Nazis and then showing us what they were doing in their past too. So for us, it's becoming a lot more apparent that these guys are coming out.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe it's just that we're only noticing it now.
It might be that we're just noticing it now. I want to also say we've been sort of sticking to the surface level quite a bit. And the reason why I say and I put it this way is these guys have been doing their crazy far right stuff and they've been going to specific events, whatnot. We've been going to a fair amount of more kind of surface level, and I feel these guys are coming up to that point and being emboldened to come up to that point, which means we're not going down to these levels to go find them. They're coming up, and they're becoming more comfortable at these higher, at these more common levels. Which means you're going to be seeing them possibly more on our stream, not because we're going out to find them, but they're coming out to come to the more common areas. I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to see at these drag time story times more right wing, and I'm talking like not just convite right wing. I'm talking about extreme White Lives Matters level right wing Nazi shit.
Yeah, to be honest, most conservative, like traditional conservative people, actually don't give a shit that there's a drag story time going on at the library because they have their other business that they need to take care of, like their family, their gardening, their work, their whatever. They don't care. It does not affect them. It doesn't affect. So the people that we're seeing are the fake outraged and then the hardcore bigots like you're talking about who, are finding an excuse to come out and be visible to yell and scream their obscenities and their disgusting symbols and those sort of things. Like, I think that they found a venue is basically what it is. Whereas again, most people don't care. So I feel like the traditional conservatives don't care, but they don't care enough to care if people are dying because of these disgusting words. So they're basically just neutral. So they're on the side of the oppressor, essentially, because they're doing nothing about it. Your centrists are doing the same thing. And then you have, the rest of us who are like, no, we can't watch. We can't just sit by and watch this get more comfortable for these people. They cannot have a seat at the table. They cannot have a space on the sidewalk to fucking yell their bullshit. And, I don't like the fact that the guy yelled, "You're going to be the first to be decapitated." Why wasn't that a criminal charge? That is a death threat. Why wasn't that dealt with? Like, I don't understand how like that wasn't, it's like, excuse me, you're under arrest for uttering death threats. Just fucking do it. Be done with it. That's not freedom of speech.
Yeah.
There were police there, right? And just because they're keeping distance, that's not enough. If these people are legitimately doing things, hate speech, which they were, uttering death threats, which they were, do something about it.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they had the whole set up there. And more than likely, the cops were just focused on just keeping the larger
I don't
crowds.
care what they were focused on.
I agree. And I'm with you on this one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they may have been just more focused on that, and that's why they didn't arrest. I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm just saying that's what they might have been doing.
And they're allowing this hate, and then they're allowing people to be like, oh, well, we can get away with this. So yes, let's go and start spewing our hate speech and spewing our death threats indiscriminately.
Now, this is the only thing that I think might be of interest here is and I'm
They can
okay
arrest
with
later.
that's exactly it. And I'm okay with that. You know, like if the cops like, you know what, go ahead, say everything stupid you want to right now. We're not going to deal with you right now. We need to make sure this entire situation is fine. But you know what?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll come by and pick you up and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And because you know what? That might be the best call for the situation. And tactically, I understand, dealing with a
We
situation.
need to keep an eye on that. We need to check their dockets and stuff or whatever, however you find out if these people actually did get arrested after. And people need to start calling the police and saying, are you going to be arresting these people for uttering death threats?
Yeah.
Calling your counselors. Hey, this happened on our streets. These
Pressure,
people.
pressure. So for people in Toronto, when they see that, pressure your city councilors. Let them know, like, hey, I don't like to see the hate in the street. Make sure that they're pressuring their police. Like, we're seeing hate people in groups on the streets. We want to see the police harassing them because that's not what we want to see on the streets.
Yep.
In Toronto, pressure them. Ottawa, same thing. Basically, any city that you're seeing this in, pressure your city. The councilors are responding to you. They'll pressure the police to respond to it. But you need to make an issue, particularly a voting issue, for your councilors. They need to do something because that's not acceptable.
I also feel like if somebody utters death threats to me, that I should be allowed to punch them in the face because I am protecting myself because there is an actual threat, a clear and present threat right in front of me. So if they threaten my life, then I need to neutralize that threat. If there's a lawyer in the house, please tell me if that's okay.
If a megaphone could be used as a weapon, as a justifiable weapon of defense.
Yeah, I don't even need my megaphone.
Fair enough.
Don't
need
it.
She's spoken. Now we move on to the next one, which is the Deana story.
It was a wonderful weekend. So
it
easy.
Was.
I have never.
So you're going to explain this entire one. I'm just going to run the photos and you tell me what to do.
So our friend, actually, he's not even a friend. The idiot,
Douchebag.
Rob Primo goes ahead and posts this ridiculous video that I think all of you have seen. And if you haven't, you can either go on to Joe's Twitter, my Twitter, and you can find it. And it's this woman, Cindy Young, who has been trying really hard to convince people that she is injured by getting the vaccine and she has serious tremors, seizures, and convulsions or whatever. So she puts on a show.
Spoiler alert, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. And she puts on this really terrible show for the camera, like terrible show, where she's trying to do all these twitching and movements and seizing. Meanwhile, there's not a vein in her body that is coming out. And if you've ever seen anybody go through something as painful as convulsions or seizures or tremors, that's not even a tremor, what she's trying to play there, and then she's also looking at the camera, making sure she's still in the frame. She's got her whatever. So Rob Primo decides to post it. And as we can see from big mistake. So he got fucking schooled by the internet. It was lovely. He's got 13.3 million views and only like 2,500 likes. The comments is over 15,000 comments. So he ratioed himself. Forget about anybody else who decided to chime in on this. He completely and utterly ratioed himself. And then in the next picture, go ahead to the next picture, you have this wonderful, hilarious Justin Jones, is it? It's covered for me. But anyways,
Justin Jones, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Jones. And Justin beautifully points out, funny how this phenomenon only seems to happen to conservative American white women, in this case, Canadian. And he got 39,000 likes with only 382,000 views. So he's over 10% ratio. Like he did amazing. Now, in the early part of him tweeting that, I think he was at like 1,200 likes and Primo was at 252. So I just made a simple comment like, best ratio ever. Thank you for your service. And even my comment ratioed Rob Primo, again, over 10% because I only have 250 something thousand views and there are 3,200 or 321. Now, it's important to note that I have never gotten anything over 600 likes. So it was my first time getting even 1,000 likes. And so thank you very much, Rob, for just handing me the slice of here you go. But it gets better because I even commented, who does her makeup? Like, how does she get her makeup so well? And I did.
I just want to add to that.
Yeah,
so many women came out like.
Exactly. I had bookmarked a bunch of quote tweets that I didn't end up sending to you. And in the comments section, women were not being fooled by this shit. Like,
well, no, because in in his and her message, like they're both like, both of them are saying like she's alone, she can't do anything, so she took a quick time to record this incident. And the minute that she said, like, you know, she couldn't have anybody else help her out, so she recorded to see what she suffers through. Every single woman and some men, you know, hey, we have some drag queens. They're like, who the fuck did your makeup? Because if you can't control yourself, there's no fucking way you're putting on eyeliner. And like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but I'm like, after they pointed out, I'm like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because I'm sorry, I can't do anything with my eyes, particularly closed, and I can't control myself. Fuck no.
And I only had 137,000 views, and I still got 4,300 likes.
Oh yeah,
completely slaughtered him. But the other guy at 39,000 likes. Again, I bow to you. Amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this
the makeup thing.
Yeah, Janny Ray, like, made me laugh because so I had to show this. Well, have you tried convulsions to improve your eye makeup? Because I said I can't even do my makeup like that. So that was hilarious. She's so far she's at 1,100 likes, so she's almost right where he is. And then the stupid idiot, we don't have the thing, but he goes and doubles down and then he plays another idiotic video. And of course, she's wearing her hold fast tank top. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm embarrassed for her. I'm embarrassed for him. You guys need to just pack it up over the shoulder and walk away. Like, delete your account, go home. 15 million people almost saw your bullshit. Oh my God. Some of the quote tweets and some of the songs that were put to that,
well, the quote tweets we got, we can go into the songs a little bit later. We're not going to go too much into it because
no. So what does this one say? It's too small for me. That's
not the vaccine. That's the crack withdrawal.
Yes. Look, 44,000 likes. This person completely ratioed Primo, 44,000 likes. And I hope this lady just stops. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to end up looking for a job like Jason Lafacci is. You're going to have a harder time finding a job because no employer is going to believe your fake ass, lying, grifting bullshit. You wouldn't even get a commercial. Like, you just need to stop. You need
Yeah.
to stop, dye your hair brown, change your look, cut it short.
Maybe don't put on the makeup anymore.
Don't put that much makeup on so that you look completely different so that you can manage through life. Because I think after this, it's pretty much done. Over.
Yeah, because it's bad
and
enough
out.
you look like you're dancing like a white person at a wedding. So
Over
it's,
and out. Over and out.
it's not a good look.
No, embarrassing.
It's not a good look
I'm
at all.
so embarrassed for you.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we've got for
But then,
this week.
but you've got a great closing.
Got a great closing for you guys tonight. And it really ties into the previous segment. I'm pretty sure you guys can probably guess. And I will say there was a lot of great work that was done by the internet because, again, the internet picked this up, both Canada, US, and looked at it right away and said, you know what? This thing is ridiculous. When the internet goes through it, they're like, you know what? We're not going to have fun with it. And some of the musical pieces got in there. And I personally had a personal favorite. Shared it with Deana, and she's like, yeah, no, that shit's good.
Yeah, this is going to be the last segment, or the last, the closing video, I think is what we call it.
So this is our, yeah, exactly. So this is our personal preference as our goodbye for tonight. Again, we'll be here again next week on Wednesday, 9:30. And don't forget to catch us again tomorrow, on Wednesday, Friday night at 9 o'clock. Holy crap. Stupid milkshakes. So catch us again on Friday night at 9 o'clock for our spaces. And until then, have a great night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Now that I told y'all a little bit about myself, let me tell you a little bit about this dance. It's real easy to do. Check it out. First I limped to the side like my legs was broken, shaking and twitching kinda like I was smoking. Crazy, whack, funky. People say you look like MC Hammer on crack, Humpty. That's alright, cause my body's in motion. It's supposed to look like a fit or a convulsion. And